may surprise you. 1 in every 8 Americans is over the age of 65. If you are caring for an elderly relative, chances are you've grappled with the issue of putting them in an elderly home, or maybe you've decided to care for them yourself. One woman has actually put together a resource guide to answer questions people may have about elder care. It's titled the Complete Eldercare Planner. The author, Joy Loverde, joins us now from the Tribune Tower to talk about the guide. Thanks for being here with us, Joy.
Hi, Amy.
Hi. This is such a difficult issue for people who are working. Many people are working more than 40 hours a week. How can you guide them in terms of caring for an elderly relative?
Well, one of the ways that we need to do something for our parents right now is to start initiating conversations about if they're not going to be able to live in their homes for the rest of their lives, have they given any thought to where they would like to go, and who's going to pay for the cost of care and health care.
How do you bring this up diplomatically, Joy? This is a very sensitive issue. People are afraid of their parents' reaction.
Yes, so we have to be very careful. These are tough conversations. One of the best ways to initiate these conversations is to begin the process by asking questions. We can say to them, have you given any thought to some of the things you would like to have later on, and how is it that I could help you with these issues, specifically money, moving, and the care that they may need later on.
Hi, welcome to Fox on Family. I'm Steve Ducey. Thank you for joining us today. Got a question for you. Are you afraid of dying? Do you think your parents or your grandparents spend their days dreading the end of life? Well, according to a survey commissioned and released by the Brooklyn Hospice, many seniors, 90% in fact, are beginning to take a more positive view of death. What does that mean? Well, mostly it means that people no longer believe the end of life has to be a degrading experience. There are many reasons for this turnaround in attitude, and here to discuss them today, we have here in New York, Dr. David Taylor. He is the medical director of the Brooklyn Hospice and the Jewish Hospice of Greater New York. Meanwhile, in Chicago, Joy Loverde, author of the Complete Eldercare Planner, joins us as well. Welcome to both of you. Joy, with the people you have worked with and the people you've researched, what would you say the biggest fear they have is about the end of life? Is it that it's going to be a degrading experience? They're going to be tied up to a bunch of tubes in a hospital?
No doubt it's pain management. That's the biggest fear. And once that fear is removed, family members actually look forward to planning for such an event, making it in a family get-together where we can share memories and experience this all together. People don't die alone anymore for the most part.
Well, how do you convince them that at the end of the road, you will be able to control the pain and the suffering?
Hospice is one good way to control it because it basically transfers the responsibility to the family members and the hospice people who are there to help us. If we're aware that we can manage it, we can typically ask for it.
Okay, well, obviously the attitudes toward death are changing.
We are joined now with Joy Loverde, who is the author of the Complete Eldercare Planner. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Now, this is a subject that in my household anyway, we never talked about with my parents until they were quite on in their retirement years and finally opened up about it. How do you first talk to your parents about this issue?
Well, there's lots of ways to do it, but one of the things we want to do is make sure that we don't catch them off guard and put them in the hot seat. Okay, this is elder care is not a problem with aging parents. Elder care is a family issue. So we can start by talking to them and asking them if they've given any thought to what they'd like in their future.
Are there more options for older Americans these days in terms of how they live and where they live?
Absolutely. Creative solutions are more like shared housing, having someone come into the home and help them with issues. The use of assisted living programs in the community is new and also becoming more abundant for us family members.
So your book is basically a how-to guidebook for people whose parents are retired?
Yes.
Or approaching retirement?
Approaching retirement at around the age of 65, remembering that we'll be planning for their lives probably well into their 80s.
Why are people older Americans, so private about sharing the intimate details of their lives?
Well, because one of the most serious losses that our parents will experience is the one of independence, and they truly don't want to be a burden on the rest of the family. So this is why they actually hold back information from us in order to maintain our quality of life. They mean well, but it usually disrupts the entire process.
Leads to problems in the future.
Well, you know what to do when your parents reach the age when they're going to need your care. The time to think about it is now. That's the advice of our expert this morning. Joy Loverde is an elder care consultant. She's also the author of the Complete Eldercare Planner. Good morning.
Hi.
Thanks for coming. Now, you say that the biggest mistake is that people who are like our age aren't thinking about this and should be.
That's right. We can expect about 20 years worth of financial, medical, housing, and emotional issues, because when our parents retire at 65, they most likely will live to at least 85. That's 20 years worth.
One thing that faces a lot of people is, are their parents well enough to drive? And so you say, don't say, you're a bad driver. How would you phrase it then?
What we try to do if we get a sense that our parents are having difficulty driving and they don't think so, is we begin the process of negotiating them off the road, as opposed to telling them that we're worried about them. As when we say we're worried about them, what we're really doing is talking about our needs versus their needs. Their need is to be independent. So how can we talk to them about not being on the road? Perhaps we could start by saying, do other drivers scare you? Have you ever thought about just driving during the day? And things like that. Again, the process of asking questions is key, as opposed to telling them what to do.